No team in the NFL added more in the offseason between trades, their new head coach, and other acquisitions than the Chicago Bears. But what do they do to round it all out and head into the 2025 season through the NFL Draft? I'll tell you coming up next. I'm Jeremy Green of NFLDraft.net and ESPN Radio Asheville, and this is a 4-round mock draft for the Chicago Bears.
Ain't no truth on the radio station. Somebody owes me an explanation. Well, I get knocked down, I get back up.
The Sportsocracy.
And I'm unapologetic.
Friend of the program and Asheville native Ben Johnson, we are in Asheville, North Carolina, just like Ben, has taken over the Chicago Bears, and this team feels like it's really headed in the right direction. But what do they do in the draft? Up here on the screen, you'll see the starting all 22 for the Bears. And I'm not going to lie to you, there's not a lot of holes here, which makes me think you just go into this pick at 10 with take whoever the best player on the board is. Now, in our little scenario here, there is no Ashton Jeanty, but I don't really care. I'm not sure that you should take him at 10, even if there was an Ashton Jeanty on the board. So what do? There's one position that I still feel like is a need for the Bears, and that's linebacker mixed with edge, and there is a player that really fits that, and it's who I'm going to take here. It's Jihaad Campbell. I consider him an edge rusher, but he also plays off-ball linebacker from Alabama. Look, this kid's not a natural linebacker, and that's what bothered me about him as we were going through the initial pre-draft process. Then I realized, after talking to some people at the Combine, he started as an edge. He's only played 2 years of linebacker, which I knew, but I didn't really ever think about him playing as a natural edge in the NFL. Pass rush grade was good, not great, but then really dig into what he did at Alabama. He had less than 100 pass rush snaps all year last year. He only had 159 his entire career at Alabama. He wasn't asked to do that. But then when you really watch it up close and personal, he can do all of these things. Measured well at the Combine, ran well at the Combine. All of these things lead me to believe he could slide into that 4-3 outside linebacker role, but also play as a true natural hand-in-the-dirt edge. He's a very positionless football player, and I think he would be a great fit in Chicago. This is the same guy that I watched take Jack Campbell, who blew a lot of people's minds early on in a first round in Detroit. I could easily see him doing it again with Jihaad Campbell as the piece that would tie that defense together. So here at 10, I am going Jihaad Campbell, linebacker, edge rusher out of Alabama. Now, 2 picks early on in the second round. This is where I'm finding my running back. At 39, there are a lot of guys that I like. The 2 that are gone, and I'm just curious where Marion Hampton went. He went at 29 to Washington. We've already had Jeanty go. I can't stop doing this because I know they talked to him at the Combine. I know he's going to come on an official top 30 visit to Chicago. I just really like him as that David Montgomery role. I'm going Kaleb Johnson again. If you've seen our previous mock draft with the Bears, I did this before. He just fits what it is that Ben Johnson wants to do so well because he's such a bowling ball between the tackles. Kid measured well, too. I mean, he's really, really thick. 225-pound running back. He just kind of reminds me of David Montgomery. And the more I think about it and the way that Detroit offense ran while Ben was there, that pick makes all the sense in the world. So here I'm going to stick with it. Go Kaleb Johnson at 39 to Chicago. Drop down 2 spots. The player that went in between the 2 picks was Landon Jackson to New Orleans. That wouldn't change anything for me. The team needs for Chicago, which are harder to figure out now than they were before. Running back, which I've already taken care of. Linebacker, which I've already taken care of. Then for me, it's defensive tackle, cornerback, the edge, which I kind of felt like I took care of with Jihaad Campbell. You added Olamide Zaccheaus, so I don't really feel like I have to take a slot receiver anymore. I can kind of just look around the board and go, what is it that I think would best fit this team? I think one of your biggest detriments is Tyreek Stevenson, and the way this board has fallen, it's quite nice for me to take one of my favorite players in the class. It's Trey Amos, cornerback out of Ole Miss. This kid started at Louisiana. The tape was really good there. Goes to Alabama. He just didn't play a ton, only 340 snaps. He was fine. He just didn't really stand out. Then he went to Ole Miss. And at Ole Miss, this kid was absolutely ridiculous. The Georgia tape is really, really good. That's the one where I kind of fell in love with him because I saw he can play in man, he can play off zone, he can play virtually anything you throw at him, and he's really good against the run. So if you felt the urge to move him into the slot from time to time, you could also do that because he's so good against the run, and he's kind of natural. That's one of the things I noticed, especially at the Senior Bowl, is that he's sticky in coverage, but he moves really naturally. There's not a lot of jerky movement. It all just feels like second nature to him. This is my third highest rated corner in this class. I think would be a great value at 41 and would be a great starter on the opposite side of Jalen Johnson. So, all right, here at 41, I will go Trey Amos, cornerback out of Ole Miss. Only one other pick in this for the Chicago Bears. Didn't leave me a lot. A team that I don't feel like needs a ton. It is hard when I get down to this pick and just go, there's really nobody that I love for Chicago here. I've already added the linebacker. I don't need that. I've already added the corner. So now I'm going to look to the interior of the defensive line. I'm not really high on Josh Farmer, so that's not going to be the player that I go with here. I'm torn between two. I'm going to go with the one that I think has the highest upside. That's Jordan Phillips, defensive tackle out of Maryland. This kid comes in immediately as a great run stuffer. Would be a nice replacement for Grady Jarrett in a year. I didn't really understand the Grady Jarrett deal. I don't know if Chicago didn't watch him last year or if maybe I'm just sensitive to this because I do live very close to Atlanta and I am a Falcons affiliate. So I got to see a lot of him. I think Jordan Phillips is going to be kind of a necessary evil. This kid is so damn good against the run. I understand the run defense grade is not as high as you would think. He is an elite run stuffer. The problem is he's not very good against the pass. He needs to develop more as a pass rusher. If he does that, this could be one of the steals of the class. And he's still a really young kid. Kid won't even turn 21 years old. He will be 21 at, I believe, week 1 of the upcoming season. So one of the youngest kids in this class, one of the only sophomores in this class. So here at 71, I'm going to go Jordan Phillips, defensive tackle out of Maryland. All right, that's the last pick for Chicago. They don't have a pick in the 4th round. So we'll see what grade PFF gives me here. These are always low. They never love what I do. I'm not surprised because I try to stay honest and not just, hey, Nick Eamon-Worry's here at 42. Yeah, well, guess what? He won't be in April, so let's not do that. All right, so our grade, we get a B+ on Jihaad Campbell. That's solid, and you could reach for the stars with Shamar Stewart or something like that. I just don't think they're actually going to be there. So I went Jihaad, got a B+ there, got a D on Kaleb Johnson, which is dumb. I understand running backs deep, but to have him at 65 is just insane to me. Trey Amos got a B- and got a B on Jordan Phillips for an overall grade of a B-. Bears fans, do you like this mock? Do you not like this mock? Are there players you just want to talk about how they fit with Chicago? Throw those in the comments. I answer all of those myself. It takes me a few days to do, but get those in there and I'll answer those as quick as I can. And if you like this video, like this video. That does more for us than I could ever say. And subscribe to the channel so that you can see all of our draft content leading up to 3 days in Green Bay, the most expensive week of my life with an $800 a night hotel room. Seriously, stop putting things in Green Bay. But we will be live for all 3 days of the 2025 NFL Draft in Green Bay. We'll have a 4-man booth breaking down every pick as they happen in the 2025 NFL Draft. You can also find me live right here, noon every weekday with our ESPN Radio Asheville show. I am at ESPN Draft Nerd Jeremy Green of NFLDraft.net and ESPN Radio Asheville, and this has been a 4-round mock draft for the Chicago Bears.
Ain't no truth on the radio station. Somebody owes me an explanation. Well, I get knocked down, I get back up.
The Sportsocracy.